Well, as you might have guessed, this is Control. I played this game when it first came out. I played it on my Xbox. I played it on my original Xbox One. And this game is a system hog. It is designed to wring every last drop of performance out of a system. And my Xbox One didn't run it as well as I would have liked. I loved the game though. The game completely blew my mind. Now I'm a fan of this old TV show called The Lost Room, and Control has a very similar premise to The Lost Room. There's some kind of paranormal connection to a weird universe where things don't work the way they should, and the effects of this world kind of it gets into everyday objects and takes things that seem familiar and turns them into something a little bit more twisted, and it's really cool. And so Control is about that, and I don't want to get too deep into the game because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. If you haven't played Control, and if you're at all into this type of game, you absolutely have to try it. It completely blew my mind. One of my favorite moments in all of gaming was the ashtray maze. And the first time you go into the ashtray maze, you don't understand why it's interesting. But when you actually figure out how to unlock the whole thing and you get in there, it is one of the best experiences I've ever had. So that's my pitch for Control. And the reason I'm giving it up front is because I'm going to play through the beginning of it. The beginning's a little bit slow. It doesn't necessarily convey everything that's exciting about the game. And so I just want to tell you, this is one of the most exciting games I've ever played. So, I got a brand new computer, so it's supposed to actually be able to run games like this without basically collapsing in on itself. So let's see if that's true. All right, well, obviously I've never played this before. I got to set all this stuff. I got headphones on. I am a fan of subtitles, but I think I want to actually have an uninterrupted view of the imagery of this game. So the left icon is not visible. Okay, wait, which one? Oh, I couldn't even see it at first. So yeah, I think we're actually pretty good at 50% here. Let's just leave it there and start.
Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual. Can't be helped. You called me. So here I am. I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you. It's just that I get my hopes up. So many times it's led to nothing. I found nothing. It's like we live in a room and there's a poster on the wall. We stare at it and we think that's the whole world. The room and the poster. The picture's something nice. A landscape, a famous person. Like in that movie, what is it called? The prison movie. The room's a cell, and the picture, it's different for each of us. It can be beautiful or terrible, but we're all transfixed. But it's all a lie. Something to distract us from the truth. They're lying to us. We're lying to ourselves. The room's not the world. The world is much bigger and much stranger. There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw. I'm here. Why did you bring me here? anyone here?
So I realized that I usually keep the volume of the gameplay kind of low, and so maybe I should have turned on subtitles so it'd be easier for you to follow the dialogue. I don't know how large and how readable the subtitles are. Let's check them out. So was it under audio? Or, ooh, mute copyrighted music? Yes, because I'm on a stream. Display? Interface? Subtitles. Ooh, I can make them large and put them on a background. Yeah, absolutely. I love modern accessibility options. Okay, so one thing you'll notice is that this is a Remedy game written by Sam Lake, which means there's a protagonist that is constantly talking to themselves and saying deep and meaningful poetic things about what's going on around them. That is just a constant. And wow, I have got to say, my new machine is performing much better than my old one. What's this? Okay, so one thing I've noticed about this game, because the world is so weird and fascinating, I actually found myself reading all of the lore items that I picked up. I'm not going to try to read them on the air right now because, you know, whatever, that's not what people are here for. But it's weird. You guys know me from watching the stream. I don't read lore items. I get annoyed that they exist and I just barrel through them as fast as I can. I collect them because I'm a completionist. I don't read them. I read every single one that I found in this game. They're really, really worth it. Okay, Jedi Cytrix says that they're actually down for having me read stuff. I am paranoid about boring people. That's like a psychosis that I have. Jedi Cytrix, if you want to, analyze me as a psychiatrist or psychologist, I don't actually know what realm of psych you're a part of, if you're an MD or not. But the point is, if you want to analyze me, go right ahead. I cannot stand the idea of other people being bored with what I'm doing. But, you know, if you're going to have a problem, that's a pretty decent problem to have as a game designer.
Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them, and they were hiding in plain sight.
Oh, if I remember this right. Okay, pay attention to this. I think this was one of my first indicators that something was weird. Look at where I am. I came out here. I'm pretty sure something weird is about to happen. So there are these glass walls. I can't go through them. I can only go around. So I'm going to turn right once. There's this wall I can't see through. Turn right again.
Hello?
And I turn right again. I just turned right 3 times?
Excuse me.
Let's look at that again. I've dreamed of making a game that did this for a really, really long time. Whoa. Look at that. The way that I came from isn't here. So I basically passed through a portal at some point. And, there's a lot of ways you can try to explain this. I passed through a portal, the world shifted around me, but yeah, this area can't be here.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, janitor, by the way. You work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, they relevant. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Okay, so I just came out the door that I went in before. Didn't I? Or maybe not the same door. A similar door. And now I can take the elevator.
The cell and the poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help?
Courtney Hope. I'm pretty sure that is the actress who plays the protagonist, and she's not just a performance. She actually, I think, face modeled for the character. I think that's the right name. Don't quote me. This game is exactly the right kind of creepy for me because it evokes this kind of Lovecraftian dread of a much larger world that is so powerful that it renders you insignificant, meaningless. But it doesn't try to hit you with jump scares
Did I lose you there for a moment?
or body horror.
You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
I can't deal with horror movies typically. You know, the way that they sort of manipulate you into feeling this sort of nightmarish kind of horror. I don't play well with that because I think I had really bad night terrors as a kid, and I just have a really strong aversion to those feelings. They're not thrilling to me. They're just unpleasant. But this game, it creeps you out. It makes you sort of question the world that you live in. It makes you, sort of examine a kind of fear that I find interesting without going for the cheap stuff that just manipulates you and makes you feel bad. All right. Can't get in there. Man. So having this new card that has got ray tracing, that basically enables the ray tracing in this game, the lighting quality in all these places is just over the top gorgeous.
Shit. Shit.
Yes, 3 of those.
You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really?
So you see that shimmer on the screen? That's an entity that's talking to her.
And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am I?
Okay, so this game uses a method that it kind of reminds me a lot of, I don't know if did you ever play, what was the name of it? It was a Sucker Punch game before they started doing Ghost of Tsushima. What is the name of that series that they played? You guys tell me. Anyway, one thing I liked about it was they gave you so many different powers. Infamous. Thank you, Ace Me. They give you so many powers. Like, that controller was full. There was not room to add one other function to that controller because you had so many powers. But you could learn them and you could get used to them and you could actually play with them because each time they give you one power, they had an entire sewer level devoted to teaching you how to use it, and you couldn't leave until you understood it. And so they were able to build one power at a time over the course of that entire game until you really did feel like you were this incredibly superpowered character who had this intuitive control over so many different abilities. Control is like that too. Each time you gain a new power, you come to one of these otherworldly places, and wow, look at that lighting. Can you believe that? When I played it on my original Xbox One, it was beautiful. It wasn't this beautiful. So, I love that this character speaks in your mind, and when they try to subtitle it, there are certain terms where they have to use multiple English words to triangulate on the meaning that they're trying to get at. Like, this is so... I mean, you can imagine being talked to by something like that. It's like a thought's rising in your mind where you're struggling to find the English words to describe them, to indicate them. And so when you try to sort of parse it together in your head, it doesn't come together perfectly because the thoughts are coming in so pure. I love the way this is written and the way that they sort of like, they think through all of these experiences that feel, you know, uncomfortable and otherworldly, and they make you understand them. So anyway, yeah, so I've just picked up the service weapon, which is it's basically the thing that defines who is a director. The previous director has shot himself with it, which sort of left the gun on the ground, and now I'm basically chosen as the person who wields this weapon. So I'm going to learn how to use the service weapon. Okay, so first they're going to teach me melee. The V key? Really? V? Oh, look at those sparks.
The same gun.
So it said control the gun / house. In the mind of this otherworldly entity,
Now I have a gun.
the gun is the same thing as the entire building the game takes place in. I control this gun, I control that building. Though, so it's like, you could think of it as just, oh, the two are connected. They're just two different things that are connected. I think in this otherworldly arena, they're literally the same thing in a way that the human mind can't comprehend. That's the kind of nonsense they make you accept in this game. Unfortunately, I'm actually better at shooters with a controller than I am with a mouse, because, you know, that's where I play Call of Duty and stuff, so I'm not going to be a great shot. In fact, it might actually make sense for me to try to play this game with a controller. So you actually have infinite ammo, but you have to reload periodically. Or recharge, I suppose, is what you're doing. Oh, these ones shoot back. Oh, what's this? Oh, enemies drop health elements. So I wield the gun and they wield me, and that's the same.
Something's coming. This threat. An attack. Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here.
Alright, so I'm going to take Awesome Twitch Dude's advice, and I'm going to use this controller. Now the question is, can I invert the mouse? Yes. So, no, wait, no, not the mouse. I don't want to invert a mouse. I want to invert the controller. Right there. That's what I want to do. Who inverts their
Things are
mouse?
bolted down outside.
That's crazy talk.
Is it safe to go?
Ah! Okay. That's the closest thing to a jump scare they do.
You can't let this happen. 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 You can't let this happen.
Sometimes in those visions,
You. Oh, thank you. That was horror.
well, so real quick, sometimes in those visions, they cut to what looks like the actress being filmed, not the 3D model of the character. It's kind of disconcerting, but it's less disconcerting here because the character model is so good. Like, it's a little closer. It's still a little bit Uncanny Valley-ish, sort of, but whatever. All right, well, let's not get shot. All right, that went fine. And okay, this is the same thing I couldn't open before. They do a pretty good job of, this world is extremely complex and difficult to understand. They do a pretty good job of still helping you understand which way you need to go.
Secure line of communication. Guidance. Reach the hotline.
Ah! What? So I'm actually trying to remember which button is melee with a controller. Okay, let's pick up some health. And it looks like we got some loot, too. Picking up some health. It's weird that health is pale blue in this game. Okay, so what is the melee button? Ah, looks like it's Y. So I think I remember I did some controller remapping when I played this before. What did I do? I think, okay, so melee is Y, use is X, and evade, okay, evade is B, so that's the same as a State of Decay 2, so that feels right to me. I think what I did was I swapped use and melee, because melee on X is the State of Decay 2 binding, and so that is what feels right to me. So let's make this X, and let's make this Y. So I interact with things with Y, and I hit things with X. That's just like my game, and so that feels right to me. Oop! But I already forgot what I changed it to. Oh, looks like this was not very safe. The whole building is full of these panic rooms where you can, like, pick up loot and stuff. And occasionally rescue humans. Okay, so I'm picking up loot. Eventually, that's going to make sense. So if I want to just close myself in here and just, live here for hours, I probably could. But we won't do that. Ow. Packler's like, I love me some controller remapping. Yep, that's what you come to this stream for, is to watch me remap my controls. I do always appreciate a game that allows you to do that, though. Like, because I often have, I've just got habits from the games that I play.
Reminder,
listen to
if you
this.
experience an unanticipated building shift, follow these simple steps. 1. Search the room for any altered items or objects of power. 2. Carry the altered item or object of power to the nearest safe room. 3. Wait for Bureau staff to find you and the object. If there are no altered items or objects of power in the vicinity, then reach your supervisor via the nearest intercom and await further instructions. Thank you for your attention.
So there was this time. So when we were preparing the Juggernaut edition of State of Decay 2, we knew we wanted to revise the controls. We ended up making some important control changes, but part of that process was, we decided to really look at, to really consider changing everything. We ended up making only some subtle changes to accommodate some some UX improvements we wanted to make, but we started from the ground up and said, we should question everything. Maybe we want to change the entire control scheme. And one of the things that we looked into was what the sprint button should be. In this game, it's clicking the left stick, and that's what it is in Call of Duty. That's what it is in Jedi Fallen Order. That's what it is in a lot of games. But I decided to do a bunch of research, so every game that I could find that I had installed or that seemed like it was in roughly the same genre as State of Decay 2, I looked at it, and I found that it was split evenly between clicking the stick, the left bumper, and the right bumper in different games. And I found, so some people have been telling me, why don't we have sprint be on clicking the left stick? That's what it is in every game. And other people were like, why don't we have it on, right bumper was really rare, actually. It was A. Why don't we have it on the A button? That's what it is in every game. And I was like, we should keep it on the left bumper. That's what it is in every game. I did the research. It was actually split evenly between those three. All of the games that I did, I found about 30% in each one, and then a couple of weirdos on the right bumper. I think like Monster Hunter or something had it on the right bumper. But it turned out the games that I played were the ones, like Hitman has it on the left bumper, for instance. I'm a huge Hitman fan. And so, of course, that feels natural to me, but it doesn't feel natural to somebody else. And so I love when a game lets you remap, because to me, interact on Y and melee on X, that's what feels natural, because that's what it is in the game that I make for a living. And that's what it is in and there's a reason why we assigned those buttons to it in State of Decay 2, is because it's also a convention in a lot of other games. But not everyone is used to those conventions, and so you choose the best control scheme you can for your game, the one that feels like it's going to be the best for the most players, but then you let them change it if they've got something else they need to do with it. So okay, so this is a place I've already been. I needed to come back here to get this. Someday that's going to open for me. I need to come back and get that health anyway, though, so that's good. So, if I'm going this way, Central Executive, let's imagine that that's where I'm headed. I already went into this shelter. Oh, what's this? This is probably where I'm going. Aha, yes, it's red and scary. This must be where I belong.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place.
Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
So I love that when she goes into that otherworldly training zone, basically, that's when you can hear the voice of the thing in her head. You can hear it speaking to you more clearly. You don't hear it in English, but you hear it, and then you get the English subtitles. But when she's out in this world, you don't hear it at all. You see the shimmer on the screen, and she hears it, and she answers it, but you don't know quite what it said. It kind of puts a little bit of distance between you and the protagonist, where, you are her, but you also kind of distrust her, because she has secret information you don't have. So this place is creepy. Yeah, it looks like I got one option. You'll notice that when you get a headshot at an enemy, they immediately duck. Whoop. And what that does is, it keeps you from getting a second headshot on them. So you have to either re-aim or just move on to somebody else, or do less damage to them. So it's pretty clever. So this guy takes a lot more damage. Okay, you'll notice that, so there isn't actually a reload button. What you do when you need to reload is just wait. And if you actually run yourself completely out of ammo, it takes longer to come back than if you stop yourself.
An enemy.
This effect is great.
Corrupt. Spreading.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it.
So Jedi Cytric asks, who are all these people we're gunning down? So the game has not explained that yet.
Holy shit. You did it. We did it.
Hello? Can you hear me? Are you with us? With the Bureau? Are you still sane?
So what these enemies are is, she calls them the Hiss, because when you've got an enemy force in a video game, you have to give it,
Please, talk to me.
you have to give it
I
a
saw you deal with
Pope, shut up.
compromised agents.
You have to give it a simple collective noun as a name. The Locust, whatever. Anyway,
It's safe to come out.
yes, okay, fine, I'll talk to you.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie?
Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting.
I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
How does she know this? Everything in this world is creepy.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the Hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah,
I found his body. And the gun.
Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
the service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown before you became the new director? How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet.
A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Pope. I don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of.
Yes. I can try.
I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together.
So earlier somebody asked,
Okay.
who is she talking to? Who is she asking questions of?
Push the hiss out.
This entire monologue, the entire narration of the story, is her talking to this thing inside of her head.
It didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
So this is like the scene in The Matrix where they explain why. They explain why it's okay for you to kill all the cops. Because they're a part of the system and they can't be saved. And so this is that moment right there was to make it okay for you to shoot all of the bad guys in the game. Because even though the bad guys are possessed agents of the Bureau, the possession is in there so deep that the agent is gone and they can't come back. And so I love that they had you try to save one, and they told you you can't save them. That's why it's okay to fight them. I just appreciate that they cared to explain that to me. That really matters to me. You know, that they recognize me as someone who doesn't actually want to go and murder a bunch of people that I could be saving. They have to make it clear to me that all that's left is the enemy now, and that there's nothing about these people that's salvageable. So before I just continue deeper into the story and start to reveal more of what's going on, I think I'll actually cut it off here, but we're not going to end the video yet because what I want to do, because I really want people to play this game. I don't want to go any further in the story. I want people to be able to experience it for themselves. But I do want to show you what this game eventually becomes. So what I'd like to do is go over to my Xbox version of the game. Exit this. Switch over to the Xbox where I've actually won the game. And I'm in, I haven't beaten the DLC yet because the DLC just barely came out for the Xbox. But I have unlocked all the powers, all the weapons, everything. But I'm in a state right now where I'm at the end of the story, and so there's no more story revelations going on. So I just want to jump in quick. I've kind of forgotten how to play with a lot of the powers, but I want to jump in quick and just give you a sense of what this character can become and what it can feel like to play this game after you've gotten much deeper. So no spoilers. My goal is to have there be no spoilers. But I want to show you what this game is like. So get through the beginning here. Yeah, this is not a game that you should play if you're epileptic. In fact, you shouldn't be watching my stream of this game if you're epileptic. Well, I'm going to switch to the top right since I'm be facing a different screen now. And let's continue the game. You can already see that, like, the UI is a little bit less responsive on my original Xbox One compared to my, brand new modern PC. This piece of hardware from 7 years ago is more like 6 years ago is, yeah, it's a little old. Ooh, Oddwell just pointed out that I forgot to update my stream information. So while this is loading, I'm going to update this to show that I am playing Control and not Hardspace Shipbreaker, because it's annoying when this is inaccurate. So let's change this to Control. And there we go. Right, yes. Old school hard drive loading times. I cannot wait until the Series X and the PS5 come out, and because both of them are really devoted to making this not happen. I think there was a public test on where they just took my game and loaded it up on a Series X, and it cut the load times into like a tiny fraction of what they used to be. All right, so here we are in the same room we just left. So, oh yeah, there are some new missions because I just downloaded the DLC. But I think as long as I don't go and try to trigger these, we won't get any more. We won't get any spoilers. So this is the same room. It's built up now. You know, it's full of agents, and I've unlocked a fancy costume. Check out my duds. So I'm gonna head out of here. Oh wait, no, that's the boardroom. No. That's where the story's gonna be. Let's not do any story. Let's look at. I'm trying to remember now how this works. Okay, so I've got my loadout, missions, collectibles. I forgot where my map was. There it is. Okay, so this is my map of the facility. This map is very difficult to follow, but part of that is just because the world is so complex, and you want the world to be complex in a story like this. So I just want to go somewhere. A left turn into executive affairs, or maybe a right turn into the cafeteria. Or the cafeteria looks like it's down some stairs. No, that's where I am. Okay, yeah, so let's head towards the cafeteria and see if I can get into some trouble. So let me remind myself how things work. So one thing I can do is fly. If jumping is the A button, but if I hold the A button, I catapult into the air. What else can I do? I can aim my gun. I've got a different gun now, a different sort of mode in my gun than I had before. The right bumper grabs things, throws them, that's right. Left bumper puts up a shield in front of me. That by itself is kind of enough to give you the sense of what it feels like to play this game. So we got some enemies. Got a very, very powerful gun. Oh, somebody's shooting at me. Ah, okay. Oh. Oh, okay, so I can possess these guys once I get their health down enough. So now that guy's on my side. Oh, but I've been killed because this is late in the game and I've forgotten how to play. So let's try this again. I think I've got a fancy gun that I've forgotten how to use, so I'm gonna switch it to one that's a little bit more friendly, and we'll get into trouble again. We'll see how this feels to play. So, Oddwell is comparing what my character can do to the Force. I gotta say, this is the best Jedi game I've ever played, and like Jedi Fallen Order is the best actual, like it's an amazing Jedi game. This is actually a better Jedi game because just you really, on a visceral level, feel the power of this character, pulling things, pushing things, you know, holding up a shield, like all of those feelings you expect to have from using the Force. You feel them here better than in any other game I've ever played. Okay, so let's head back to the cafeteria, but first, and again, you can see the performance being just a little bit lower. Okay, so charge is not what I want. I want to have the grip. I think that's the classic one. So, yeah, that one's equipped. I'm actually not sure how I switch my weapon. Okay, so this is the charge. Is there... How do I... Okay, that's how I crouch. How do I switch weapons? How do I do it? Because I can have two equipped at any given time. Here's the charge, here's the grip. What is the button for switching them? Oh man, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna have to look up the options, the controls. What is it? Shoot, aim, use, switch weapon. It is Y. Okay, so it's the same button that I use for interaction. Okay, so that's what I did. So I switch weapons with Y. And you can see that my my crosshair changes to tell me which one I'm using. It's always different forms of the same gun. You don't get different guns. You get different modes for the same gun. Okay, so that actually makes me think that, you know, my switching of X and Y, I mean, Y to switch weapons, that's such a common thing. Like, it really makes me wonder why that wasn't the default. But whatever. I've got the set of games that I've played. I've got what I'm used to. Let's see if we can do a better job this time. So, one thing I forgot about was the guys that fire missiles at me. That's a big problem, but I've got an answer for it if I remember what my powers do. So I'm going to take some cover here. Oh, crap. I did not see that coming. That took a bunch of health off me. Oh, and I got hit again. This is bad. Okay, let's watch for the next missile. And usually I feel like I get some warning. Oh, who's this? Oh, he's my friend. Okay, cool. Oh, I've forgotten what button I use to slam people. When I hear that telltale sound of the rocket, there is some cool stuff I can do. If I can hear it coming, like, you end up getting really good at listening for those rockets when you've been playing for a while, but I have not been playing for a while. Ooh. Oh, yikes. Yeah, everyone's shooting at me. It's like everybody's got a rocket launcher. Okay, let's pick up some health. Oh. Okay, who's this? Is this guy firing rockets? Okay, there. I grab the rocket, and I can shoot it back at him. That's the thing I love doing. Alright, so finally won that battle. I'm trying to remember... How do I... That little spotlight on the ground, that's me able to do a slam move. I don't remember how to trigger it, though. Let's look back at the controls and see if they'll tell me. Launch, shield, not those. Evade. Oh, ground slam is right stick. Okay. So again, you see the performance hitches. Boom. Alright. Alright, cool. Let's try to get into some more trouble. Is there another? Yeah, there's another room down here. So the world's just populated by these battles. Even after you've beaten everything in the story, you still get these battles, which is great. Alright, nobody here. Anybody inside here? And basically, you'll have a battle, and then you can go a certain distance, I think, before another one happens again. There we go. Oh, whoops. One thing that's great is this entire world is made out of destructible concrete. And what that means is, no matter where you are, no matter where you're standing, no matter what you're doing, you can almost always grab something to throw at an enemy. And you don't actually care what you grab. Almost everything is as good as everything else. So really, you don't have to worry about, oh, I aimed at the wrong thing, I grabbed the wrong thing. That's just not a thing. I mean, there are some things that are particularly good to grab, but ultimately, everything you grab is useful and effective, and you're glad you did. They worked really hard to make it so that you didn't have a reason to be frustrated with your own powers. You always feel good about your powers. Let's just capture that guy. Oh, crap! Oh, I was too slow. Luckily, I'm surrounded by a bunch of health. Yikes! Okay, I'm in trouble now. Where's the guy that fired that? Is he up? Maybe my friend took care of him. Oh, no, there he is. So sometimes you think you're killing the last guy, and actually, you're just triggering the next wave. Whoa, what's this? Hey, stop it. It's fun to grab something on the other side of a guy. Oh, crap. That wasn't good. Let's run through some health. Your friends can send us to be pretty effective. Are we good? You get everybody? So notice that when you capture someone, their health is slowly decreasing all the time. And when they run out of health, they'll die. So you can't just keep them forever. Eventually they'll wink out. Like that. So, looking at that, you can kind of tell where this game is going, right? You saw that beginning where she's just barely getting the service weapon, learning how creepy this world is. By the end of this game, you are a superhero. You are a Jedi Master. You are everything every kind of hero that you've imagined being in a game. And specifically, like, the ashtray maze. Don't look it up. Just get at least that far in the game. Because I've never felt more powerful and badass in a game than I did during that section. So yeah, Oddwell is saying the same thing. The janitor's maze and the Ocean Hotel, which is very different. But yeah, like, there's some really just earth-shatteringly good moments in this game, and it is absolutely worth getting into it. But I'm going to leave it there. I've just, at the risk of revealing too much, undercutting the fun for somebody else, I'm just going to stop. But this game is amazing. It is my favorite game from last year. It's really hard to beat. And I don't know. I'm glad that I've got, now that they've come out with this Ultimate Edition and this new DLC, I'm glad I've got an excuse to come back to it. So we'll leave it there, wrap it up, and you can subscribe and click videos, or you can not. That's totally fine, because we're just having fun. This isn't my job. This is just my hobby, so you don't have to subscribe.